Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today. And today, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Cleveland Browns 26-22 on Monday Night Football. And Nick Chubb suffers a terrible knee injury. I mean, it's like one of those injuries where you just can't watch it. It's that bad. If you watch multiple sports, I'll give out a couple things that it reminded me of. It reminded me maybe of that Dak Prescott injury that we saw in Week 5 of the 2020 season, where I think he broke his ankle or broke his leg or something. He didn't break his leg. I think he broke his ankle. It reminded me a lot like that, but with a knee injury for Nick Chubb. For basketball, it reminded me a little bit when we saw Gordon Hayward go down. It was a 2017-18 season, broke his leg. That was one of the worst injuries I think I've ever witnessed in sports that I've watched. And this Nick Chubb injury, it was devastating to watch today, because it's that same knee that he had all the problems with in college in 2015 against Tennessee, where I think he tore basically everything, his ACL, his MCL, anything. And bounced back, started with Cleveland, was a second-round pick, and in the 2018 NFL draft or the 2017 NFL draft, I think it was the 2018 NFL draft, and has been one of the best running backs in the league the last 2 or 3 seasons, if not more than that. And in my opinion, has been in the last couple of years, has been one of the most underrated running backs, if not one of the most underrated players in the NFL. And now he hurts that same knee that he hurt in 2015 against Tennessee. So it's very worrying for Nick Chubb, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how he bounced back. It was so interesting with the Monday Night Football thing. It feels like Joe Buck and Troy Aikman maybe have a little bit of a Monday Night Football injury curse. The last 3 games that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman have called on Monday Night Football, going back to Week 17 of the 2022 NFL season, Damar Hamlin goes down with an injury. Not with an injury. He goes down and collapses, has a cardiac arrest, and nearly died. Thank God he's alive today. And I know he didn't play Week 1. I don't know if he didn't play. I know he might have played Week 2, but he's been a healthy and inactive. Played in the preseason, though, and played in training camp, made the 53-man roster. And then Week 1, they called the Jets-Bills game, 4th play of the game. Aaron Rodgers gets sacked by Leonard Floyd, defensive lineman, or actually linebacker, I think, who sacked him. Bills linebacker sacked Aaron Rodgers, and he stands up, then gets back down, tore an Achilles, out for the season. Now, Week 2, Browns, Steelers, Nick Chubb takes it was a weird play. I don't even know how to describe it. It was that bad, and just kind of a bone came out. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even recommend you to go look at it. I made the poor decision in going to look at it because I saw the play. I didn't see the camera angle where you can see what the injury looks like. I saw the original play, and then I didn't. I went somewhere, walked around. I think I went to go get a water, and then I didn't get to see that. So I looked up on Twitter and watched his injury, and I regret watching it. But do not, if you have not seen the injury where you can see what happened to Chubb, do not watch it. Please don't. It's terrible. But yeah, I mean, the last 3 games they've called it feels like it's starting to be a little bit of a curse. I hope nobody gets injured next week when they call the Bengals-Rams game. And to be honest, it's that would, to be in line, would probably be Joe Burrow. So I don't know if the Bengals want to play Joe Burrow now. The Bengals were already thinking about resting him. Now it might give you more reason to rest him. All jokes, but let's go over the scoring summary in this game. This was a great game. Some great defense played by the Steelers. Interesting fact: T.J. Watt scored his first career touchdown, which was the game-winning touchdown on a 16-yard fumble return in the 4th quarter. Let's go over the scoring summary in this game. There was a score in every single quarter. All right, so it starts off, first play of the game, Deshaun Watson throws an interception to Alex Highsmith. Man, oh man, was he big in this game. He had 2 big plays. He had the interception return on the first play of the game. And on that fumble return by T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith was the player that brought the pressure and brought the forced fumble on Deshaun Watson. So he was probably the best player for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game. But he started off with that first play of the game with the interception return at 7-0. Then the Browns, that next drive after that terrible interception, Watson leads them to 11-play, 50-yard drive with 6.5 minutes to go, and with a 6.5 minute drive, it finishes with a Dustin Hopkins 43-yard field goal. It's 7-3. Then this is the drive where Nick Chubb got hurt. Deshaun Watson throws a 3-yard touchdown pass to running back Jerome Ford, and there was, I think, they went for the extra point. There was a flag on the Steelers. They went for 2 at the 1-yard line. Jerome Ford runs it in for the 2-point conversion. The Browns went for 2 2-point conversions in this ballgame, got both of them, and it's 11-7. Then with 9 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the second quarter, Chris Boswell makes a 52-yard field goal, and it's 11-10. Steelers are down by 1. Then, with 6.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter, Kenny Pickett throws an amazing pass to George Pickens. Incredible play. I said it in my predictions video. You need to see these guys connect on the deep ball. And Kenny Pickett threw a 71-yard pass. It wasn't a 71-yard pass because I don't remember. I think the Steelers were on at the time. I think the Steelers were on the 30-something yard line, and he threw the ball to I think Pickens probably ran around 45 to 40 yards, so it wasn't a 71-yard pass, but it was. All right, Kenny Pickett threw that touchdown pass to George Pickens, and they go for 2-point convert. They go for the 2-point conversion because if they get it, then it would be a 7-point lead, but they fail, and it's 16-11. Then going in halftime with 22 seconds remaining before the break, Dustin Hopkins makes a 55-yard field goal after previously missing, I think, like a 53 or a 52-yard kick, and it's 16-14. Third quarter, you have 2 scores. At Chris Boswell, a 50-yard field goal, it's 19-14. Then the Browns take the lead again. Pierre Strong Jr. with a 1-yard touchdown run. Deshaun Watson runs it to the right side for the 2-point conversion. It's 22-19. And then Deshaun Watson in the fourth quarter gets hit hard by Alex Highsmith. T.J. Watt recovers, 16-yard fumble return. Chris Boswell's extra point is good, and it's 26-22. Our game leaders, Deshaun Watson threw 22 for 40 with 235 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, and 1 interception. Kenny Pickett threw 15 for 30, 222 passing yards, and 1 passing touchdown, and 1 interception. Rushing yard leaders, Jerome Ford, great game by him, 16 carries, 106 rushing yards. Najee Harris, 10 carries, 43 rushing yards. Receiving yards, Amari Cooper, 7 receptions, 90 receiving yards, while George Pickens had 4 receptions for 127 receiving yards and 1 touchdown, which was a 71-yard touchdown play. Jaylen Warren had 6 carries for 20 rushing yards as well. Nick Chubb, before he got hurt, he had 10 carries for 64 rushing yards. Watson had 6 carries for 22 rushing yards. Besides Amari Cooper for the Browns, David Njoku had 4 receptions for 48 receiving yards. Elijah Moore had 3 receptions for 36 receiving yards, and that was it for the Browns. Besides George Pickens, you had Jaylen Warren having 4 receptions for 66 receiving yards, and that was really pretty much it. Deshaun Watson lost 2 fumbles in this ball game, and David Njoku lost a fumble as well. There was also a fumble recovered by Grant Delpit, who is a secondary player in the secondary for the Cleveland Browns. Then fumbles in this game, you have for the Steelers, fumble by I think this was on a punt or kick return. It was Gunnar Olszewski. He fumbled and lost the fumble, and then fumble recoveries for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game because the Browns did lose 3. DeMonte Kazi with a fumble recovery, T.J. Watt with a fumble recovery, and Larry Ungajabi with a fumble recovery. All right, the defensive tackles, leader in tackles for the Steelers was Kawan Alexander with 9 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. Leader in tackles for the Browns was Grant Delpit with 6 tackles, and he also had a fumble recovery. You had 6 sacks for the Steelers. They had a monster day. I'm sure their fantasy numbers are just completely unbelievable. 6 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, 3 fumble recoveries, 2 scores. I haven't even looked at their numbers on fantasy for their defense, but it's probably one of the best defenses all week. But the Browns had 2 sacks, a half a sack for Maurice Hurst II, and a half a sack for Shelby Harris, and 1 sack for Sayon Takataki, and then 6 sacks for the Steelers. You have 1 sack for Alex Highsmith. So not only did have that, I think they did give him a sack on that play, where the fumble recovery from T.J. Watt. Then 1 sack from T.J. Watt, 1 sack for Larry Ungunjabi, 1 sack from DeMarvin Leal, 1 sack for Marcus Golden, and 1 sack for Elijah Riley. So 6 sacks for the Steelers today. And then 1 interception for both team. Alex Highsmith had the first play of the game, interception, returned it for 30 yards in the touchdown. And then Grant Delpit with an interception for the Cleveland Browns. So, what a day for Grant Delpit. He had a fumble recovery, and he had a fumble recovery. I think that was on special teams. And then he had an interception, and he led the Browns in tackles. Great day by Grant Delpit, the former LSU player. You guys let me know your thoughts on the game for today. Terrible loss for the Browns. Not only the actual game, but Nick Chubb as well. This is a win that the Browns should have had easily. Their offense did okay, wasn't great. The Steelers' offense was not that great. When we talk about their defense is what stepped up tonight. They had 6 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. Watson, that pick six should have never happened. The fumble return, that should have never happened. The Browns should have won this game 22-14, but they made, or sorry, not 22-14. They should have won 22-12, but they made key mistakes with the first play of the game throwing a pick six and the fourth quarter fumbling the ball and the Steelers taking it to the end zone. The Browns should have won this ball game though, 22-12. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on the game from today, and peace out.